We are so back. Welcome everybody to another mod showcase. Today I'm gonna show you the garden depths mod. So this mod aims to add more features to the Pale Garden, and I'm sorry to say this now, but there's no fog. I'm sorry, I make up for it. I promise. Now I don't think the mod's actually gonna be released when the video is released, so keep an eye out and I'll keep you posted when the mod is on. It will be on Modrinth and it is for Fabric 1.21.4. So, starting us off, we have the Pale Pumpkin, which, I mean, come on, how could I not add this is the Pale Garden? We have a story mode reference, that's awesome. Which you can, of course, shear into a carved Pale Pumpkin, and you can also craft into a Pale Jack-o'-lantern. Which is nice and all, but I also added the ability to use the shovel and the flint and steel to turn it off and on, as well as for the normal pumpkin. And I think that's a nice quality of life change, I really like that. Now, these don't actually have a seed. The way to get them, well, I'm not actually gonna tell you, but it looks a little something like this. Yeah, make of that what you will, I'm not telling you any more than that. Now, the other piece of vegetation that just spawns around the biome is the Lily of the Garden. Now, this lily is very similar to the Eye Blossom plant they added, but they are more random than the Eye Blossom, so not all of them will open every night and not all of them will close every day, which is like this nice feature. And look, they're all emissive when they're open and stuff, it's cool. So yeah, oh, that's a spoiler. Anyway, so now we have two more plants that are a little harder to obtain. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna summon a Sniffer. What you want them to do is to sniff inside the Pale Garden biome. And when they do, they have a high chance of sniffing out either a pale root or a stern flower. Now the stern flower is a flower with this really cool design and a deep blue color, which managed to resist the pale corruption, which I think is... which is what we in the industry call world building. You can also use bone meal on it to make it a tall stern, which looks like this. So that's really neat. I wanted to have a seed for this, but I'm still having nightmares. Moving on, we have the pale roots, which are pretty much just a shortened version of the pale hanging moss, which gives more variation, but it does have a purpose, which I will not show you. And that's all the flowers, but we're not done. We're barely halfway there. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into the forest and we're going to look for the creaking desert guy. Now look at this guy. That's the creaking, you know him. Chill guy, when you look at him. Now I added a wee bit of a feature that when you have blindness, they can chase you even when you're looking at them. Which is horrifying, but I hear you correctly saying, "Oh, but Tyler, when will we ever have a situation when we have blindness on and he chases us?" Well, allow me to introduce you to the Tainted. This guy, which sounds incredible by the way, is the perfect counterpart for the creaking. And let me show you why. So these guys spawn around nighttime in the Pale Garden, and as you might have guessed, when you're hit by them, you get the blindness effect. Which combined with the creaking is a horrifying combination. So yeah, they look all rotten and they sound like they're constantly choking on the corruption, which is cool as hell. And they also, they drop resin. Yeah. Speaking of resin, I have a bone to pick. A real bone to pick. Let's look at this fun clip from Minecraft's YouTube channel where they talk about the Pale Garden, my favorite biome.
When we came up with the initial version of the Pale Garden, players said that they need the resin to go there. so we gave them the resin.
The pun's fine, my issue is not the pun. Its sole reason is just to exist, and that bothers me, but fine, we're gonna work with that. You want a novelty item? Fine. Our next item is called the pedestal. You can craft it like this, and it is a decoration block for every purpose. You can place it down, it looks like a pipe. It has this cool almost sci-fi design, and it pairs really well with our next block, which is a Hollow Knight reference. Is the resin mold, which is, as you might have guessed, mostly a novelty item. But I do think it's really cool. You build it like this, you place it down, and it's this orange blob that I swear wasn't intentionally looking like the radiance. And what you can do with it is you can bring several items, I gathered them here, and you can right click it to make a little statue out of it. And yeah, it's mostly a novelty item. I think it's fun, really. But I do think that's everything for this mod. So yeah, I'm sorry again, there's no fog, but you can get yourself mods that do that, because I couldn't do that for the life of me, at least for now. But yeah, I don't think the mod is out right now. It might be like a day or two after this video goes live, so keep an eye out for that. I'll make a post to alert you. But yeah, it'll be on Modrinth and it's for Fabric 1.21.4. Look, I didn't know they were making an update. I swear to God, they released it an hour after I finished testing. But the good news is that they made the Pale Gardens larger, which I wanted to do anyways, so when it's available I might just port this over and add the other features, and that will be cool. But those are plans for the future, and I think we're done here for today. So thank you for watching, make sure you're here for when the mod releases, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.